So we got this idea to decorate some champagne glasses for Valentine's Day using resin. And let me get started. I'll show you how I do the process of this. I have a heart punch here, and what I do is I take a piece of this masking tape, and I'm just going to put it on here like this. And what this is this is just the backing from labels. You know, these like mailing labels. I just took this off so I could lay the tape down so that I could punch it. And then I'm just going to punch out some hearts. And what I want, the purpose of doing this is so that I make a stencil. Nope, that one's not going to work. I make a stencil with the heart. And I'm going to do 2. So I'm going to try to cut it as close to the heart as I can. And I'm going to punch out one more because I layer it two on top of each other, just so I have a thicker stencil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, take this one off, and I have a bare spot here, and I'm going to turn the heart, and I'm going to place this on. Now the cup is rounded, so it's going to end up creasing in one of the areas, but don't worry about that. Make sure it's on. And then I'm going to take this other one and I'm going to lay it on top of it. And I'm going to try to get it as close as I can. If you're a little off, it's not a big deal. What I'm just trying to do is I'm trying to build a wall so not as much resin comes out of this little area. But I'll show you a trick to that also. Okay, so I'm just going to do one, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pour some resin in our little cups because we're going to mix it. And I'm actually going to pour a lot because I have been making some resin hearts, and I'm just doing killing 2 birds with 1 stone by doing this together. So I've gonna pour this into a container like this, and then I'm gonna mix it. Let me just get a stir stick. I didn't have one out. So I'm gonna stir this really good till it's clear. And it's 2 parts, equal parts, as we know, for the resin. And this is the amazing casting resin. This is what everybody does their little resin pieces with. So we're just going to stir this until it's clear. And I can see the bottom. And then I'm going to take this Illuminate red dye. Love their dyes. They're so vibrant. And I'm just going to drop 3 drops in here. I mean, you can drop as many drops as you want, but I usually do 3 or 4, just so it gives it a really red, vibrant look. It looks almost like blood. And then these are the hearts, just so you know. These are the hearts that I'm doing. Those will be one of my Valentine projects for next month. So what I'm going to do is just ignore this part. This part you don't have to do. It's just that I find it easier than trying to measure out a tiny bit of resin to do these little tiny hearts. So I'm just going to pour these into my mold. This step you do not have to do. You can do as much resin or as little resin as you want. And if you want to, you know, like throw away what you don't need, you can. I kind of don't like waste. So I figured this way was easier. Okay, so I'm going to keep this close though because we may need to dip into that. So here's what I do is I let it set up for a little bit so it gets kind of creamy. Because we all know the working time with regular casting resin is not, very long. So I think you have like 20 minutes. So I'm just going to let it set up a little bit because I do want it to be a little bit pasty to put this on. Because if you put it on while it's runny, then it's just going to run right off your glass. And, you got more of a mess. I mean, I've been able to do 2 on one side of this glass at the same time. So I'm just going to wait until it's... But I'm going to do 1 for the sake of this here. And I just want to get it so that it's not so runny. I mean, soon you'll find that it'll be a little creamy, almost like it's cured, because this one does cure fast. So I'm going to keep checking it. See, now it's getting thicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting this on here. And don't worry if you go over your little stencil. It's okay. So I'm going to get more and just finish this heart here. And then I'm just going to wait for it to set. So we didn't need any extra. We had totally enough. And I'm just going to let it get hard on there. And that only takes, we all know that it doesn't take very long for it to set up. And I will be back once it's set up. Okay, so I took this one off. And I took the first layer of that one off. And I haven't done anything here. But I want to show you a few tricks that I do. If you take the tape off, I usually try to let it cure all the way almost, but I'm very impatient, so I peel it off, and you end up with all these little imperfections or these runny, they like pull strings. I use my pick and I use a lighter, and normally when it gets all cured, you'll be able to scrape it off the glass, these sides. And then if you end up like messing up the heart a little bit, if you take your lighter and you just hold it on there, it'll heat up the resin again, and then you can reshape the resin the way you want it. So I'm going to pull this, and hopefully it'll come out good on camera. So I'm just going to lift this up and see how that's just pulling off like it's a stencil. Okay? And then from there I'm going to let it set and dry completely before I start playing with it. And let's do this one since they were done at the same time. Let's see. See, this one is pulling up. See how I pulled up a lot of the heart? Don't worry. We can fix that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my lighter and I'm going to heat up the resin. And then I'm going to take my poker and I'm going to pull the resin all the way around the stencil. So let me heat this up again. We might have to redo this heart. Yeah, I think we're going to have to redo this heart. Okay, so let's just take this off. I did the second glass, so here's the first glass, and here's the second glass, and this one is drying, so I did the whole thing at the same time, and I've kind of been moving it around so that the resin doesn't like go all over the glass. So this one is drying. And what I'm going to move on to is I'm going to move on to the dots that I want to put on this glass. And I do see a space here. I think I might come in later and put another heart here, heart shaped. But let me show you how I'm going to put some dots on here. So I have the white Illuminate dye. This is the liquid dye. This is the Luma Dust. And it is a powder and it's shimmery. And I am going to mix that with my resin, and then I'm going to put dots all the way around my glass. So we're just going to mix this up. And I'm going to mix it in the clear one first before I pour in the other one. Just so I can show you this pretty shimmery pink. So there is the shimmery pink. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to mix the other part in with it. And see what we get, if it's going to be dark enough. And I think it's going to be perfect. Just love this color. And I can feel a little heat on the cup, so I think it's getting hard. Or not hard, I think it's getting stirred. So we're going to move this. Now this is going to be another one of those where I want to wait just a little bit because this is going to run. So I do want it thick. I do want this consistency a little thicker before I start dabbing it on the My thought is to just take it and go like that. And we can do this. See, if you turn the glass, it's going to smear. So we can't do it this way. So this is going to have to be one of those that we do real fast as it's curing. So I'm still waiting for it to get a little thicker than this. I just don't want it so runny. So once you've got the resin to a thickness that you feel comfortable working with on the glass, then you just use the popsicle stick or the stir, whatever you're using, and just dab it onto the glass, kind of make little circles. As the resin gets thicker and thicker, you can see that I'm working it more and more on the glass. So this is basically how I put the polka dots on my glass, and I didn't videotape the whole process because it would have been a very long video with the two glasses, but I will come back and show you the two glasses finished and what they look like. So here I have the glasses finished, and I will give you a quick turn of them. See all my little dots that I was putting on, my little polka dots, and there's some that aren't, you know, perfect, but you know what, overall I think these glasses came out super cute, and I'm kind of excited about them, that I've just, you know, that we can use the resin to decorate glasses with. It does take some time to do it, I won't lie. It did take me like a week to get these done, but if you plan ahead and you know, have all your materials ready and what you're going to do, and you practice. I think anybody can do this, and I think it's an awesome idea. So those are my champagne glasses for Valentine's Day, and I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you find some inspiration, and thanks everybody for watching.